With me now, AFC Wimbledon legendary goalkeeper Seb Brown. Great to have you back here today, Seb, and all this fantastic imagery of our history around the ground now, yeah?
Yeah, it's brilliant to see. I think as soon as you come into the stadium and you see it, sort of the winners' wall, as soon as you come in, it really, I guess, reminds everyone of the good times, really, and the stuff that this club has achieved, whether that's on the pitch, highlighted by the winners' wall, but then you've got the One Till I Die mural, which highlights how much everyone else has been involved in bringing us back to Plough Lane and stuff. So yeah, really positive, a really good day to see everyone and get to be part of the unveiling.
It's like you do with any home, though, isn't it? You put the finishing touches to it, and this stadium now, it's steeped in Wimbledon history.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much a good way of putting it. I think we've been back in the stadium now for the season, so we've kind of got the grips to the place, but now we're starting to add those home furnishings, those home comforts to really make it ours. And I think we've sort of done that as we've gone along and added different pieces that sort of give everyone that feeling of this is our stadium. I think the way that obviously everything's been put into building the stadium in terms of the crowdfunding and stuff like that, I think that's a really important part, that people can come here and feel, actually, I was part of something there, or oh yeah, I remember the team, that's the team that got me supporting Wimbledon, or that's the player that I used to look up to, or whatever, and it's all there as you come into the stadium, which is great.
It's what these fans do, though, didn't they? I mean, it's the fan stadium. They've built the stadium, they've owned the stadium, and now decking it out in the Wimbledon colours and the history as well. John Lynch, Vice President, Wimbledon in sporting history, who've managed to put this together as well. It's a fantastic achievement.
Oh, I mean, all of the murals and all of the ideas, I think for everyone, the guys from Wimbledon Sporting History and everything like that, I think even as far down as the shareholder wall and stuff like that, all of these different creative ideas that are letting the club fundraise, but also then having the chance, like we said, about bringing generations of fans together through different teams and giving people a chance to bring back those good memories. I mean, when I stood there and looked at our section of the winners' wall, it was kind of a good chance to reflect on some good memories, really. So hopefully that reflects the same for everyone else that comes in, whether it's the 2016 team that was kind of your era, or whether it was the 63 cup winning team that was your team and stuff like that. It's hopefully gives everyone the chance to reflect on those, but also particularly for probably the younger fans, I think I reflect on how old I was when we came in, given that there's probably a generation of fans now that don't know who the 2011 team were. So for them, it gives them things to kind of connect to, go and look back on, talk to their dads and mums and family members about, and find out, oh, what was that team about? Who's the best player in that team? And I think it just really cements that thing of bringing everyone together under the Plough Lane sort of banner.
When you see that huge image of yourself there in the entrance, and Danny Kedwell as well, of course, really does sort of show the significance of that day back in 2011 still, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked it maybe to be a little bit smaller from me, but I think but it's very it stops you in your tracks. But I mean, just the fact, as I say, me and Danny get a lot of the limelight for that. So for us to both be in that mural is really sort of, it means a lot. But I think it's important that we remember the rest of the team from that team that made it all possible, because as we sort of, I know we like to think back to the playoff game, but it was a long 48 games to get us there. So I think, yeah, we obviously couldn't have done it without the team, without everyone performing to their best. And I think that's really well reflected on the winners' wall as well, particularly with obviously the 2016 team and the 1963 team in terms of their squad photos and showing their celebrations and stuff.
We had Laurie Sanchez here as well today, of course, 1988 hero, but for a long time, that generation, they didn't have a home to come home to, really. Now they have again, haven't they?
Yeah, I think sitting and talking to Laurie and actually hearing sort of first-hand about that, he was telling some stories about, obviously, Richardson Evans and this sort of stuff, and having to go to Selhurst and things like that. It was just interesting to hear it first-hand from him about how that whether it's the mentality of not having that place to call your own is really kind of is difficult, and how that sort of makes it a slightly different proposition, doesn't give you that connection and stuff. So it was interesting to hear some of his stories around our dinner table. So that was really good to hear. And yeah, like I say, hopefully moving forward, I think particularly having worked with the academy here, I think it gives the boys in the academy a place to come and go, oh, that's this team from this year, or that's where I want to be next. I want to be the next one on that wall. And I think that's great. And I think, as I say, you then tie that in with the supporters who can get to do that same thing. I think it just, like you say, it just makes it feel a little bit more like home, like ours.
But it really is an incredible story. I mean, we heard about it for years, of course. We kept saying, the day we go back to Plough Lane, we're sitting here now in this stadium. There's a team called Wimbledon playing back on Plough Lane. It is incredible, isn't it?
I think that's the biggest thing that strikes you when you walk in. I think when I first bumped into Dickie today, and that's the thing that we both sort of shared, is when we were when everyone was coming to the first combined counties game, I don't think anyone would have probably seen the vision that we're now sitting in, and we're going to watch the game in and stuff like that. In that, I think it's beyond anyone's kind of wildest imagination, really. So the fact that it's been achieved in such a quick period of time as well is great, and obviously adding into that the history of the sort of original Plough Lane and stuff like that. I think it just makes it even sort of harder to put into words how much of an achievement for everyone that is, whether it's obviously the supporters, whether it's the people who've been so instrumental in making it happen, whether that's Eric, whether that's Joe, whether it's the Donors Trust board, that sort of stuff. Being able to come here and be part of a match day and walk through and see all the murals, see all the things around the club that actually go, we did something here as a collective, and as I say, to have played a part in that on the pitch and allowing us to kind of increase that standing to a point where we can get to this is a massive part of it, really.
But for yourself as well, of course, now, I mean, the fact that, you're very successful with what you're doing with Chelsea, you've of course worked with Sutton as well, but it's still for you kind of in a way like an ambassadorial role for you with Wimbledon, so that you've still got that love for the Dons.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously working in football makes it difficult to get to too many games because they tend to clash with other fixtures. I've been quite lucky today in that our under-16s game this afternoon has been postponed because of international call-up, so that's been good for us, or good for me I should say. But yeah, I think everyone that knows me around the place will know that if there's something I can do to help, I'll do my best to do that. As I say, if that involves coming and watching a game of football in a stadium such as this, then even more reason to be part of it. But I think, as I say, just to be part of it and get to come back and relive some good memories is good for me.
Brilliant. It's really good to see you here today, Seb, and so much fantastic history to enjoy seeing around the stadium now.
Absolutely.